Hey there, Michelle here, and thank you for joining my channel. I am here with you today for a process video for my creative scrapbook. Now, this is using the limited edition October kit, and with this kit, you receive this cut file of a pumpkin that says thankful. You can also, with their cut files, you can download them from their site if you are a member. And so if you haven't set that up yet, you'll want to do it so you can access all of their great cut files that they have with their kits. So the first thing I did was color my cut file with a couple of different inks. And now I'm covering it with crackle paste. And so I let that dry. And now that you can kind of get into the cracks, I am using scorched timber to add a bit of color. So I spend, let's just say, an inordinate amount of time on this pumpkin. And so, welcome to my little pumpkin journey. So I'm adding some rusty hinge to it, and because I have decided that my words just didn't stand out enough. Um, you'll see how I fix that here shortly. So this is the paper I'm using. I think it's gorgeous. Um, I want to add just a little bit of texture paste because I'm going to be adding some darkness in the corners as well. And I didn't want it to get too dark, and so I have this little tiny bricks stencil from my stash, and I really like this stencil. And I just apply some texture paste in some areas. I don't cover the whole thing, just so you can still see a lot of the flowers shining through. And then I go ahead and add splatters using my Dina Wakely media gloss spray. Okay, so adding, like I said, a little bit of color to the two corners. Now, first I use, um, it looks like real tealish, but that's actually Evergreen Bell Distress crayon. And I go ahead and add some water to it, first with my paintbrush to get that color moving a little bit. As I go, I do splatter with the color that is on my brush as well. And then once I am done or have added enough of that evergreen bough, I am also going to go back and add, let me grab the crayon here, ground espresso. And so that is what really darkened up those corners, as you can see in the video there. So there's my pumpkin. So what I finally did, two things. First of all, I downloaded the cut file and cut it out, and then just cut out of the cut file the word thankful and layered it on top of my pumpkin. So it stands out a little bit more, and that made me happier. I also added just a bit of glitter here and there, kind of coppery kind of glitter, to add just a little bit more sparkle to that pumpkin. So this stencil came in the kit, and so I'm going to use that in a couple of areas that my picture is going to be between. So I don't really care too much about the middle section because that's going to be covered up. I've also, there above the pumpkin, I cut out that kind of rusty little verbiage block with some leaves. I cut that out of one of the other papers. So I have my picture here and a lot of the layering that is going to go around it. Most of those pieces were either from the pattern paper or from the embellishment bits and pieces, including that kind of lacy bit that I am using as a just a base for my pictures or my picture and that pocket life card to sit on. Now, my picture is just of this great rusty old red truck surrounded by pumpkins from a pumpkin patch visit a few years ago. Um, and I love going to pumpkin patches where they just do such a great job of creating little scenes and little things to look at. The Pocket Life card I'm using says an all at once summer collapsed into fall because that is definitely how it feels sometimes. You just wake up one day and it is fall, y'all. Summer is done. So I am inking all of my pieces with ground espresso as well and going ahead and raising some of them so I can fit bits and pieces underneath. And then I'm going to add that scarecrow. I'm going to use the one with the hat because it definitely has that fall vibe. I love the scarecrows that come in these kits. Okay, I have a few bits of foliage I'm going to use around that cut out piece that I already attached to my photo. And I am going to try to figure out what I want to do up in that right corner that changes here and there as I audition different bits and pieces. Uh, Definitely that best ever that is under the thankful on the pumpkin. That's going to stay. I'm going to add that tag and build some other little elements around it over there to the left. I'm trying to decide if I want to use hearts. And I keep the green one. The red one does not make the cut on this layout. I think I want to save it for something else. So that little block up there also does not make it, but this piece does. This little green part of a slide. I cut part of it off, and then I'm going to put the rest under that pocket life card. That wheelbarrow is going to stay, and then I'm also going to add a rake there as well, and a few other pieces here coming shortly. So there, as always, the limited edition kit is known for its flowers, and so the ones that come in this month's kit, there is a pack from 49 and Market, and there is a pack from Prima. So I mix those together on this layout. The ivory ones are from 49 and Market. I go back and forth with which one to use from Prima, but I end up using the kind of rusty orange one that you see there, along with the white frond from the 49 and Market set. You'll see my little bucket, and I tend to, when I get the flowers, break them all out and put them in a little bucket or a container so I am free to mix them up and use them how I want and not get too worried about keeping fenders together or separate or however you want to look at it. So yeah, I've added a little sprig up to the left. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down there under the happy times. I'm going to get my leaves how I want them. I think they're gonna, yeah, turn more in towards the layout. There is my flower. And I am indecisive. I can see that, but it is going to end up being that ivory flower here shortly. Um, and just remember, I know if you've watched a lot of videos, you know if you've used mixed media on your page, it's just best to use some sort of liquid adhesive for anything you layer on top of it. It just is pretty resistant to adhesive, particularly a tape runner, um, when you are trying to stick things down over on top of that mixed media. So. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make sure all my edges are inked. including that wheelbarrow I mentioned that is going to go under my picture. And now I'm going to go ahead and start adhering some of my flowers. And I've changed my scarecrow so it's the one with the hat. And there are some other elements that I'm going to be adding. Now, this one is a bit of a free for all. Some of the normal rules or guidelines that I have in my own mind, I really don't pay attention to them on this layout. And one of those is, how many different types of phrases and fonts and looks you can have on one layout. I was just care. I'm just going to do it. And so you'll see that I have that heart. I'm going to get that rake over by that pocket life card. I'm going to add some tickets and such. But then you'll see when I get to the word phrases and such, I just use whatever I felt like using, and it was very freeing. So I highly recommend it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get that wheelbarrow down. I have I play with this sign a little bit. I don't end up using it. And now I'm starting to look at some word phrases. I really like these little circular ones, and so I do use those in a couple places. I have some tickets that I'm going to use for layering pretty much in all three lusters. And so that is what I'm working on there, trying to figure out which ones I like and where I like them. And there is my handful of word phrases. I do like and leave that harvest happiness up there at the left. And I I think that is where it's going to end up. And I am going to go ahead and ink that and adhere it. And I love pumpkin fall pictures and such. I'm not much of a fan of eating pumpkin flavored things, but as far as pictures and just particularly on a blue sunny day, I just think that they're so fun and gorgeous. And so I'm going to use that photographs word and filled with gratitude. So there you go. There's a couple of different word phrase and fonts going on. Though I've used both of those styles in other areas as well. I'm going to go ahead and layer some tickets up there. And I am also going to go back. Oh, yeah, I still need to glue down my uh, little foliage down there. And I keep looking at that area there by the wheelbarrow and rake and the thankful and try to decide, do I want to build that up further? But I decide not to. I might play with it a little bit. I am going to add a ticket and a heart down there, but I'm not going to add any flowers or any more word phrases or anything else to attention grabbing. So I really want the title and the picture and those two clusters to be the main focus of the layout. All right, so I want to take a look above now where I had done mixed media up above. All there was like one little red area showing, and I decided it doesn't really make any sense. So I am going to cover it up a little bit. So I'm going to use that tag that says Awesome Autumn, and then I'm going to use a round word phrase that says this day. And I like the round elements because it kind of ties into his hat. So I do add another round air element as well that says good times. That'll go right there on top of my wheelbarrow. So Thank you for joining me today. If you like the video, go ahead and hit like or subscribe. Check out my creative scrapbook. You won't regret it. And here are some close-ups.